Hi guys, good evening and welcome back once again to the EdWord. I'm your host Eddie and in tonight's video I will be bringing you my episode review for possibly my absolute favorite episode this season of Star Trek Strange New Worlds has done to date. It dropped a new episode last night. I didn't have a chance to watch it till this evening as I was watching The Conjuring Last Rites last night. You can check out that film review right here on the channel. It's one of my more recent videos. But tonight I caught up on Strange New Worlds and I absolutely loved this phenomenal episode. If not, I found it a little heartbreaking as well. Now, before I go on, of course, please be warned, this is a spoiler-filled review, so if you haven't seen Star Trek Strange New Worlds, the latest episode, which is episode 9 of season 3, you don't want to keep watching or listening as I will be discussing spoilers, plot details, character stuff, all that jazz. That being said, you have been warned. Let's dive right back into it. So this episode started off with Ortegas, for some reason, taking a shuttle into a gravity field, which ended up being the entrance to a wormhole, sucked her through, and then she was stranded in God knows where in the galaxy while the Enterprise desperately looked for her. She's shipwrecked, her shuttle is wrecked, she's looking for food and water, she's on some unstable moon with seismic shifting and a big nasty storm coming towards her moon. And who does she end up sharing the moon with but a stranded Gorn? That's right, we have another Gorn episode and it was fantastic, and it had a lot of heart and depth to it as well too. She ends up finding a Gorn who, instead of eating and killing her, saves her life multiple times as they slowly learn to work together and trust each other in order to survive and escape this moon. Tragically and heartbreakingly, towards the end of the episode, when the Enterprise does come looking for her and they find her thanks to the big flare signal she put out there for them to see, La'an instinctively shoots the Gorn, believing it's attacking Erica, when of course it was just emerging from the hiding place Erica was in as well too. And it's a tragic, heartbreaking end to the most humane version of a Gorn we have ever seen on this show. You know, up until this episode, the Gorn have been portrayed as brutal, vicious monsters who just serve to conquer other planets and species and make them into their own food for their into breeding grounds for their offspring and food and whatnot. This Gorn was also a pilot, got stranded on this rock, lived off of the local predators for food, saved Erica, and then they find a way to communicate with each other in order to escape this moon. And even when Erica begins to doubt herself and the chances or the hope of escaping this moon, the Gorn literally extends its hand out, pulls her back up, and they get to work and they end up getting Erica off the moon. And tragically, the Gorn is shot to death. But oh God, what a beautiful episode. It was a great reminder to both Ortegas and the audience that the Gorn are not mindless monsters like they've been portrayed to be so far. We saw a couple of layers of humanity in this Gorn in this episode, while Ortegas learned to come to terms with the fact that appearances or first impressions aren't everything, that this Gorn was intelligent, sensible, and made choices for itself. It chose not to kill or eat Erica. It willingly saved her multiple times. She shared, they confirmed she was female, she shared her food with Erica. She even helped Erica put together the little communicator device thing so they could communicate with each other. And it was a really phenomenal episode. And I love the fact that it teased the future conflict between Kirk and the Gorn captain in the original series with the appearance of the Metrons. So it turns out the Metrons were watching Erica, as this was all a little experiment to them to see how if humans and Gorn could truly overcome their differences and learn to work together rather than fighting and killing each other all the time. Sadly, it seems humanity and the Gorn aren't quite ready for that new stage in their relationship. But in the original series episode with Kirk and the Gorn captain there, the Metrons appear again, and they seem to have a much more hopeful outlook towards humanity's outlook and attitude towards the Gorn as it changes in that episode as well, too. But this episode was about Ortegas and the Gorn finding a common ground, learning to work together. And I absolutely loved it. Of course, I am partial to the Gorn episodes that this series has done. The Gorn episodes are the most rewatchable and the most exciting, best episodes to me, and I absolutely love them. But I also love that they took a different direction with this Gorn story, and they added a whole layer of humanity to it. And it was a good reminder. It showed us that the Gorn are more than just mindless monsters. They're intelligent, they're capable of spaceflight, of communicating with other species, of maintaining spaceships and vessels, and their actions aren't always the best, but, they do what they do, and they probably don't consider themselves evil. They consider themselves acting out of a necessity for survival, which is unfortunately at the cost and expense of other living creatures' lives. But this episode was just phenomenal, and it absolutely broke my heart in the end there when La'an, of all people, shot the Gorn as they saved Erica. But Erica's reaction was totally justified. It's like, I don't want to talk to you, I can't look at you right now. It's like, what? And then her getting so angry with the Metrons, and the Metrons explaining their reasons to her. You could tell that she kind of understood, but she was still angry about it. And I guess they won't let her remember her encounter with the Metrons, as they're a fairly secretive race. But they did allow her to remember her experience with the Gorn, and now she's got that little game token thing to remember her new friend by. So, fantastic episode. Hats off to the actress who plays Ortegas. She did a phenomenal job. I thoroughly enjoyed this episode, not just because it featured a Gorn, but because of the story it told. And it just happened to be with a Gorn. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode as much as I did. What did you think of it? I'd love to hear your thoughts and feelings on it. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your night. Star Trek Strange New Worlds drops new episodes every Thursday. Next week is the Season 3 finale, if you could believe it. I know, shocking. Can't believe we're already at the season finale after what has only felt like a few weeks. It has been more like a couple of months. Holy moly, where did the time go? Alright guys, have a great rest of your night. Thanks for watching, and of course, until next time, live long and prosper.